everybody. I'm here with another episode of The Unknown Pro. I'm your host, Sam Fisher, and today I have the great, the one, the only, Kelly Kretschman. What's up, Kelly Kretschman?
What up?
I don't know why I said your full name twice, but that's just what happened.
You like to say my name for some reason, I think. It's
I
too
do.
long to say repeatedly, so.
It rolls off the tongue. At least it rolls. You know, it could be long and choppy, but it's not.
It rolls like Roll Tide. Walked right into that one.
You're sure right. I know, Roll Tide. I got an Alabama website up behind in the background, so it's just full circle.
Yeah, happens.
Well, I'm very excited, obviously, to talk to you. In general, I'm always very excited to talk to you, but today I'm especially excited. But before we get started, I have to let people know about you, if that's cool. So
sure. Just keep it short, please.
That's not possible. But anyway, so speaking of Roll Tide, you graduated from Alabama in 2001, where you were a 4-time All-American. And you played with Team USA. You debuted as a junior in college, right? In 2000, you were a junior? Or it was after your junior?
We were called Team IGA, which was like the elite team.
Gotcha.
Back in the day, I think it was like after my freshman year was the first like one of the national teams I made, but
okay.
Called Team IGA back then, so.
Cool. I'm learning already. So you were an alternate in 2000 in Sydney, and then with the Olympic team, you won gold in 2004 and silver in 2008. So that Olympic experience, and then you were in the MPF for 13 season, playing 10 with the Pride. And while you were casually in the NPF, you were 9 times All-MPF, 3 times Player of the Year, 2 times Offensive Player of the Year, Triple Crown winner, yada, yada. And now you're playing in the Japanese league. You were with Denso for 2 years, and now you're with Toda. And but I did have something that I needed to read. When you graduated from Alabama, you left there with career records in batting average, RBIs, home runs, triples, doubles, hits, walks, runs, stolen bases, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage.
Oh, man.
I'm going to write that down and frame it and put it in my living room. Anyway.
Yeah, but some of those aren't even existent anymore, thanks to having some great other players come through finally.
Hey, you know what?
So that's cool. I love it.
And that's good, as an Alabama, as a Crimson Tide person, you want to see that happen,
Records are meant to be broken, so whoever says they don't want them to be broken is crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
I told somebody, they were like, "Oh, are you mad that your home run record at the time was being?" I was like, "No," because actually it means they're talking about me again. I played so long ago that now I'm being brought up again at being at Alabama, so it's kind of cool.
Remember me. That's freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
So you were you grew up in Florida, right? So how close to home is Alabama?
It's like a 10-hour drive.
Oh wow, so it's not
far.
Super close. Yeah. Okay. I'm not good with the geography.
This is on the complete west side of Alabama, so.
Oh, okay.
Quite a drive. And
wow.
Florida's long, takes 9 hours from top to bottom kind of. So from where my parents' house is, it's a 5-hour drive to Tallahassee. So, and then you still got the Panhandle, a little bit of the Panhandle to go through. So,
jeez. So what was it about Alabama that made you want to go there?
Well, the funny thing is, I really wasn't recruited much coming out of high school. I just switched over to playing softball when I started high school. So the travel ball and all that was kind of really, really super slow for me to get into. And then back in 94, 90, whatever, 95, when I was being recruited so long ago, Florida softball really wasn't even looked at as worth recruiting out of. So I remember when Florida finally got a program, it was the same time as Alabama did, but Larry Ray was the head coach. He was the assistant at Arizona for a long time, and he basically came out and said that no one in Florida could play softball. So and the crazy thing is, I had 2 best friends in high school that both played soccer, and they wanted to go to Carolina, which one of them ended up going, but I was one that wanted to go to Florida, and one of them ended up going to Florida and winning their first national championship for soccer there. So
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that I ended up in Alabama, but Murphy just recruited me. I was either there or LSU, to be honest, and was super into LSU. I loved the whole atmosphere there. And they had their own freshmen were able to stay in apartments there. So I was like, I'm an only child. I've grown up, my own bathroom, my own bed,
Right.
little spoiled little kid. So the thought of having to go into a dorm and sharing a room and doing
Right.
sharing bathrooms and stuff like that, I was like, yeah, this isn't my cup of tea. So I just remember Murphy had called my mom after the LSU visit, and he was like, so how'd it go? And long story short, my mom's like, she liked the fact that she can have her own apartment. And he's like, I'll call you right back. And I guess like 5 minutes later, my mom's like, we got you an apartment. He said that we got you an apartment. It's an on-campus apartment. I ended up staying with 2 basketball players. So it worked out.
Oh my
It
God.
was the greatest decision I ever made because, I just, everything that happened from my playing career on after that, I owe it all to just being able to go there and be me and do the things that I love. So
that's so cool. That's my favorite part of any recruiting story is, you know what? I can't, I need my own space. So let's make it happen and roll freaking tide.
Yeah, the head coach at the time in Alabama, like, kind of, I guess, was like to Murph, like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, because he hadn't seen me play yet, and he was just like, just do it. Like, we need to do this. And
Yeah.
And then Murphy took over my sophomore year. He became the head coach, so it worked out.
That's fantastic. Gosh, and wow, speaking of Murphy, what a career he's had,
Yeah.
But that, I mean, like you said, that kind of just started everything after college. Did you think, as you're going in as a freshman and you're playing softball and, you're obviously good at what you do, did you think that you'd be sitting here still playing when you were back then?
Hell no. If I'm allowed to say hell no. No way.
Say whatever you want.
I mean, no friggin' way. Gosh. I just remember being in college and hating to have to go to workouts and practice. Like, I felt like I was Allen Iverson. Like, we're talking about practice. Like, I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
And, kind of the Olympics in '96 kind of gave me a dream to kind of still want to be an Olympian. Because I played every sport growing up. So I didn't know I really wanted to play softball until really the '96 Olympics came around, because my dream as always a little kid was to be an Olympian. I had a flag behind my bed the entire time I was growing up. So, once that happened, then the Olympics kind of just put me in that right path. But, once '08 was done with the Olympics, I was just kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'll play in the pro league. It's just something to continue to do. And did I think that my body was ever going to hold up this way? No. Did I think I was ever going to find a newfound love to working out and, putting myself in the shape that I'm in? No, because I hated it. And I think a lot of that has to do now with the fact that I figured out what works for me. I myself telling me to do it, not someone else dictating when and where and all those things probably. But no, I'm extremely grateful for it. It's led me to meeting so many great people like yourself.
Oh God, get out of here.
But just the things I've been able to do and see, and heck, I mean, it's been amazing. So
I mean, truly, this career is unbelievable, obviously. But now it's Kelly Kretschman, or before it's, Kelly Kretschman, Olympian. Now it's Kelly Kretschman, your age. Do you like, I'm not you, and I get annoyed for you because obviously there's stuff you think about, because they talk about it in men's sports all the time. Oh, he's turning 38. He's maybe got a few seasons left, that kind of thing. So you have this stigma. I mean, me thinking about what I was going to feel like when I was turning 30, I can't believe that this is how I feel compared to how I thought I'd feel, so when you hear that, do you feel like, what do you think? Cause it comes up a lot. It's silly.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It comes up a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it comes up probably more than normal because I'm playing with 22, 23, 24, 25-year-olds.
Right.
There aren't a whole lot of people that are significantly playing above 32, you
Right.
know, so,
Right.
nowadays anyway. You know, back in the day when I was on the Olympic team in 2000, the average age was you were in your 30s. It wasn't in the 20s, you know, and now it's completely different. They're, you know, 25 is like, I feel like around the age that
Yeah.
they're at. So, you know, obviously there's a couple of exceptions on that team, but you know, it doesn't bother me. I kind of just think it's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's more of like, I kind of laugh because it's like, yeah, I'm 40, but I can still
Do the
beat
thing.
some of you at everything that we're
Yeah.
doing. So I think, and then they like it. They like calling me grandma. It gives me, you know, a title. But you know, I'd rather have that than not being able to play.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to think about that. The fact that I am 40, and you know, people ask me like, you know, what's the difference between playing back then and playing now? And I'm like, it's a really hard question for me to answer because I've played with the likes of Lisa Fernandez and Dot Richardson,
Yeah.
you know, and the Lori Harrigans, and you know, the pictures of back, you know, back in the day,
Right.
the Jen Brundages, you know, all these great players, Stacey Newmans, and then you go to the middle generation that I played with Tasha Watley's, the, you know, the Kat Oshermans, the Monica Abbotts, the Caitlin Lowe's, the Lauren Lappins, the Mendozas. You know, I played with that group, and then I got to play with the Romeros,
Right.
Lorenz, Ricketts, you know,
Yeah.
Jordan Taylor. You know, you can name all those, the next generation that I got to play with, and you know, the Lauren Chamberlains. It's been so fun for me, but you know, so I like the fact that people give me a hard time because that means that I've been playing a long time, and I would rather have been playing a long time than be done when I was 30 or whatever it would have been.
Yeah. God, that's a good way to put it. Cause it's like, if they're not making fun of you, that means you're not playing. Like,
right. So it comes hand in hand. So you know.
it does. But, I mean, to make a career last so long, especially in softball, especially when you went into playing pro, I can't imagine. I mean, there's not a lot of money in it now. I can't imagine what it was like before. So what internally drives you to continue your career?
I've been lucky. So for some reason, I've just been lucky to have the means to be able to continue to play.
Yeah.
You know, I was extremely fortunate that I got to be on the Olympic team, so I made money from that. You know, whether sponsors, being on the from the USOC, you know, and then to be honest with you, getting put on the Pride was the greatest thing that could have ever happened in my career. You know, Don DiDonatis gave me and so many softball players the extreme opportunity to make that our living. You know, we were one of the fortunate teams in the league that got paid year round, and I could afford every month to live off of what I was making on that team. And then playing in the summer was bonus money for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously some of the sponsors and stuff helped as well. But yeah, I mean, if I hadn't have been put on that team, I don't know if I'd still be sitting here.
Wow.
Still doing what I probably would have had to start coaching. I would have had to been a college coach and trying to figure out how to juggle both, which so many of us are doing now. You know, and then leaving the MPF last year, God, it seems like forever ago, but you know, and being fortunate enough to be able to play in Japan. You know, so I just, things have fallen in place for me financially wise within softball to help me be able to continue to do what I love doing. So, but all honesty, if the Pride didn't happen, if Don DiDonatis and USSSA didn't pick up the Pride, I for sure would not be sitting here saying I'm still playing. I would have been probably coaching somewhere, hopefully.
Right. Because it just, I mean, it wouldn't have been feasible to do that because you have to still pay to live, you know?
Yeah, no. And then the way I spend money, it for sure would not have been feasible, you know?
Well, you like some shoes, you know, it's fine, right?
I like shoes, and I like my Papa Shot basketball game I bought the other day, you know, just
Dude,
things that I absolutely need in this life, so.
They're essential to your living. Well, I mean, that's cool. And you've maintained such a high level of play for so long. I mean, you look at a Major League Baseball player who retires at 41 and they're set the rest of their life. They don't have to worry about it, right? You've given girls everywhere a chance to think, maybe I could make a career out of, you know what I mean? Like you've made it possible in situations that probably weren't as good as what the future generation are going to have as their opportunities. So you've made it work in less, you know, ideal situations versus what maybe is coming up. So you're giving people a chance to think about that, you know, and you take a few jokes along the way, but
I tried. A lot of us tried to grow the pro league to a whole nother level, to where once you got done playing college softball, you had somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to, you know, be the stereotypical, okay, now I have to go get married, find someone, live in the white picket fence, and get my normal job and do all that. That you could still be a female athlete once you're done playing college softball. That doesn't have to be, okay, now I have to go find a job, or now I have to go to grad school.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's changed a little bit. You know, I think that we've done something, and the time that it's happened doesn't need anywhere where it still needs to be. No, but I mean, just the way that college softball landscape of that has changed. You know, it's just to me, it's just a bright future looking ahead.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I even seeing the clips that ESPN has been posting, you know, since there's no sports on the TV, of old, you know, even just the way that they're broadcasting it, and just the conversations about the sport have just become more and more positive. So it's just cool, because you're such a big part of that movement for us, you know, and younger. I mean, I remember watching you play. I like, I remember the first time that you and I exchanged words was we were playing at Michigan, and I had hit a home run, which was cool. But then I think we walked you because it's terrifying to pitch to you, but you're on first base, and I was like, hey.
Awkward Sam.
Me being the most awkward human, and you're like, hey man, like, quit hitting home runs off us. And I was like, oh my God. So just, you know, it blossomed to friendship straight from there. Yeah. But
it's so funny how many people have been so intimidated by me, and like, and you can ask anyone that's ever played with me or like is my friend. I'm like, I'm the biggest just teddy bear ever.
1000%.
It's so funny.
Yeah, life's biggest curveball was you know, I, as a first baseman playing against you, who might show a bunt to be funny and then might hit it right past your life, you know, just in general, it's intimidating being right there. So, but yeah, no, getting to know you. And what my favorite part about you, I have a lot of favorites, but the number one favorite is you're so humble. People call you the GOAT, and you're like, stop it. You stop that. You know what I mean? Like, everything that you've done, everything that you've experienced, the amount of time you've been playing at such a high level, you are one of the greatest of all time. But you are just like, stop. Like, that's such a cool thing. You don't walk around with your sunglasses on inside and expect people to cater to you because of what you've done. You know, like, you're still you're just a homie.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I feel like people say this a lot. Like, they want to just be like, you know, you get that question, what do you be remembered for? You know, all those things. And like, I think people say all the time, well, I want to be remembered as like a good teammate.
Yeah.
You know, a great person, and all, you know, all the cliche things. But like, legitimately, like, I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to be able to say they enjoyed playing with me, that they had fun, that they learned something from me. You know, I think everyone has the potential to have great careers and great numbers and all those things.
Right.
You know, but do I want to be the person that they're like, yeah, she was a great hitter, but she was a biatch, you know? Like, oh.
Not at all.
You know, I wasn't that person, and that, to be like, it could have been taken away from me in like 2 seconds, all of those things, and who would I have been? Like, none of it really matters. And I was always that low-key person anyway, low-key player. Like, I didn't want to be the media person. Like, I remember in college, I would have my SID do half my interviews for me, like, respond for me, because I was so camera shy. I was like, I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I just like playing the game, and whatever happens from that was always just like the cherry on top.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Oh,
Because you said it perfectly. If you had the game taken away, if you're not out there swinging the bat and playing on the field, who are you? You know, are you the person that people want to still be around? And I think that that is a really cool perspective, because you, like, I could watch you play all day because of the way that you play the game. You know, you're in the box, you're terrifying, and then you're on base and you're like, hey man, like, I'm hungry. Like, it's so cool. And I'm telling you, like, that perspective I think is amazing, because it is it. Well, who are you really? You know, what does it matter if you can put the ball out of the park? Are you gonna, you know, take care of the people around you too, and be someone that like I know if I called you and say, Kelly, I need to vent, or can you pick me up? I'm stuck. You'd be like, yep, be right there. Let's do it.
for sure.
At the end of the day,
and I like that. I love hearing that, because that's it. You know.
yeah, you're a good teammate in life. You know.
You
Anyway.
know, it's a good sign too, is if the umpires like you, and the most of the umpires loved me.
They did.
They loved me. They probably hated hearing my mouth all the time from, you know, all, like, every little thing. I was all over them. Yeah. But, you know, they knew if they turned to me and were like, Kretsch, that's enough. I'd be like, okay.
Like, all right, cool.
I'll go back to my right field over there and do nothing.
I'll go as far away as possible. God. Yeah, I can picture you and your banter with the umpires, and it was there. It was real. So I want to talk a little bit about the Olympic experience, mostly because I don't think a lot of people know what it means to be an alternate. Because you informed me. I didn't know some of the parts of being an alternate, but your first Olympic team, 2000 Sydney, you're an alternate. So tell me, like, what exactly it means versus being a full member of the team or whatever.
Sorry, Sue called.
No, that's okay. It's casual.
So, you know, at the time, I knew I was an alternate, but I didn't really understand what the whole thing meant. I just knew once it got to the Olympics, I wasn't going to be playing. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
But we trained with the team the entire time they trained. We traveled with them. We went everywhere.
Yeah.
With them, and then it was up to like 2 weeks before, or whenever the last minute or last roster has to be turned in. You know, we were allowed to practice with them. Once that was set, we weren't allowed to practice with them anymore. And I think they might be different now, because I remember Alicia Hollowell practicing with us up to a certain point in 2008. But so anyway, so once you get to the Olympics, that's it. Like, we were done. Luckily, the ASA paid for the alternates to go with them to Sydney. And then it was me, Amanda Freed, and Terry Clement Goldberg. We were in and the soccer team was staying when they were in town, because they weren't staying in the village. We were in our own apartment. We were on our own the entire time we were in Sydney. So I got a vacation for 2 weeks in Sydney, Australia. It was the greatest time ever. You know, me and Amanda Freed's a year older than me. She was 21. I just turned 20, which was the legal drinking age in Australia. So that worked out great. You know, but we had to get to the field. We were on our own the entire time. You know, we were basically just put as adults. So scary to think about now, the way the world is now. But
right.
I didn't think anything of it. I walked to Sydney Bridge. We went to, you know, beach volleyball. We went to baseball. We went to all these events and went around Sydney like it was the greatest time. We went to Sports Illustrated parties. I met Muhammad Ali. Just crazy things that it's like, man, this is the greatest experience ever.
Yeah.
You know, once the game started, though, it was hard sitting in the stands, you know, but I made the best of it, painted my face every game, you know, cheered as loud as I could, heard the Down Under song 5,000 times, which
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy.
But it was a great time, and you know, and it was a great experience on the other side to not being on the field, to see what those girls had gone through in that Olympics, because they almost didn't win the gold medal. They almost didn't even make the medal round. So to see them battle through that, and just see their perseverance and all that, and them have them win was cool. So I think being an alternate was hard, because it's like you're grinding with them constantly every single day. and then to just get there and it's like, okay, well, thanks for playing. I remember we were in Hawaii because we stopped in Hawaii before to train for a couple of days before we went to Sydney to cut the trip up a little bit.
Oh, nice.
And at that point, they were like, okay, well, you and Amanda, you guys and Terry, like, you guys aren't going to take batting practice anymore. Like, you're just going to help us. So it's like, me and Amanda were like, okay. So we went to the beach. We enjoyed Hawaii like it was no, and they're like doing all this extra stuff and like just sitting in their rooms. And I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And we're like, but we became like the best bucket shaggers ever. I mean, we knew how to catch, shag, dry balls off, and run the buckets in like no one business. But that's what we had to do. That's what we needed to do to help the team. So for that to be, of course, to be the first experience was probably the best case scenario for me, to be able to appreciate the Olympics on that side of it, and then like be hungry for the next one to come around. That's I didn't want to be sitting on the sidelines anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to ask was, did that experience drive you to then in 2004, I'm going to be the one on that field?
Thinking back, you would have thought it would have drove me a little bit more.
Oh.
But I was so young. I was 20. I still a year left of college.
Yeah.
I was just young and dumb. I didn't, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it just wasn't my time. Like all these great older players were still there. So it's like, okay, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. And then I continued to make the national team after that. So I was like, okay, I'm good enough, blah, blah, blah. And just, I think back now and I'm like, how silly I was. Like, because I wouldn't make the national team, I would make the elite team. So it's like, I was always there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like, I called myself the captain of the elite team. That's how much I was on it. Me and Lauren Lappin, we were on that team more than anyone and their mother.
Yeah.
I'm moving places, sorry.
I know, that's okay. Of course, the guards.
But to think about the fact that I could have worked harder. I could have done all these things to be better. Like, this isn't on any of my stuff, but, I was never on a world championship team.
No way.
I was on one Pan American team and no world championship teams, but I was on 3 Olympic teams.
Wow.
Like, I got cut from, each world championship team the year before the, well, I think it's 2 years before the Olympic team. And Pan Am's except for 2007, because I wasn't in shape, because I couldn't run a 300-yard shuttle. And you would have thought, like, okay, dummy, like, you're not making teams because you're out of shape. Wow. But I was so young and dumb, and I'm like, in my mind, and Bustos at the time for the most part, like, we were like, what does running have to do with us playing softball?
Yeah,
like, when you put us on the field, we're still going to be better than, like, we're going to do what we have to do to help you win the game. Yeah. Bottom line. Right. So in our mind, like, I know in my mind, it's like, are you kidding me? I remember one year me and Bustos didn't make the national team and we were on the elite team and we went to Canada Cup, and Bustos, I don't think she got out the entire tournament. And like, they had world championships that year in Canada, and they had to take her. They had to move her on that team because she was just, you got to the point where it's like, what are we doing, guys? Like, yeah, it doesn't matter that she can't run a shuttle. Like, she's going to win us softball games, right? So there's so many things that I could have learned from, being an alternate, and, drove me to be, right. But I still just continue just to be me. Like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna perform, and that's what I do. And, but again, I hated working out, hated doing all those things, because in my mind, I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to do these things to be better.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I don't even, till after the 2008 Olympics, it didn't even hit my brain. In 2004, we worked out and ran so many 300 shuttles. That's the last thing I ever wanted to do in my entire life. Seriously. It was like, I could care less about running a 300 shuttle ever again. And then we did it again in 2008, and I was like, oh man, this is like a nightmare, So, but I probably, because of all of those experiences, now I'm like, okay, you can't just eat McDonald's every day. And, and I think getting older too, you start to like realize, all right, if I don't start doing things, then, I'm not gonna be able to move or get off, off the couch. So, right. But yeah, it's crazy to think about if I motivation, it's like I probably could have had a lot more motivation and probably been, it's crazy because people always like, oh yeah, you had a great career, but like, college career and Olympics. But then like most people go, okay, well, her pro career is like separates her from everything. And it's like, well, I wonder why. Because I finally put everything together and working the way I should have been working for all these years. So
yeah. So that you think it was after 2008 that you kind of flipped the switch a little bit?
Probably I'm gonna say 2011 maybe.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
12 could be, because I remember seeing a picture of me in one of my uniforms in the pro league,
Uh-huh.
and I still have it because it's my motivation. I was like, I was chubby, like I had a semi tire around my stomach.
No, a semi.
Oh, it was bad.
Wow.
Like when my stomach is further than my boobs, we're in trouble here. Okay, we're in some serious trouble if that's the case. So yeah, and then once that started, it was like, bam. I was like, okay. I never felt better. I felt fast again. I hadn't felt that since college days. And my rejuvenation to want to be out there every day and actually be at practice and do the games and do all these things. It was like, I mean, it got to the point where it's like, if I didn't work out before we left to go to the game, like I felt like I hadn't did anything that day. Like that's how obsessed I became. So yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy because, since I've known you and since we've been friends and talk a lot, we talk about working out, we talk about how, especially when we were in Japan and we're like, man, I'm trying to figure out how to work out more. It's crazy that that's how you are now. And that's how it's part of your routine, where before it was like, oh my God, no, thank you. That's cool. But I think doing it, obviously looking back and having that, hindsight vision being 2020, looking back and thinking, I could have, maybe should have done a little bit more, but everything that's happened in your career has happened for a reason. And now you're here, you learned within the last, 8 to 10 years about doing a little bit extra, doing a little bit more. And maybe it's because of that switch that you've been able to then keep playing till this age, because yeah, man, things start to hurt a little bit differently when you're not 22 anymore.
I'll tell you a funny story. So we just had a Zoom call the other day with the 2004 team, which was really cool. I hadn't seen some of them in a long time, but Stacey Newman's like, oh, what do you got to, Kretsch, blah, 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 and she's coaching the pro league, and she's seen me play post Olympics and things like that, and she's just like, I was telling him what I'm doing. She's like, it cracks me up. Is just the funniest thing I can't handle. You're in better shape now than you were when we played. You work out more now that you played. And then, I've helped the U.S. team this past summer when they needed help when the coaches were at their colleges and stuff. And I was running the conditioning part. So here I am. They got done playing a game. I forget who they were playing in the Clearwater tournament. And they decided, Erickson's like, oh, we're going to run. After he's like, you got anything? And I was like, oh, I got, got the perfect thing. It was like a position run. Everyone runs to each position once. You got to sprint all the way through the position and sprint all the way back. But the funny thing is, here I am yelling go and back, and making them do it again because they didn't fully run through. And like, and someone's video and they post it online, and I get this text message when I get done doing this from Lovey. Lovey's like, are you freaking kidding me? If you had told me, if I was on that team and you were telling me to run, I would told you to F off. She's like, I can't believe Kat didn't tell you to go shove it somewhere. But like, that's the ironicism of it all, is that like, I understand what all of that did to help us win a gold medal.
Yeah.
And a silver medal. We don't really want to talk about that, but I understand what all of that. Now I understand what all of that meant and what all of it did to help us win, to prepare us to be at our best when the Olympics came. So it's just kind of funny story. It's like, here I am. I mean, life is just full circle. I'm the one that got cut from teams because I couldn't run. So now I'm trying to
telling them to run.
Yep.
I love that. But it's cool because it's almost like you're the perfect person to be in that position, because you're like, you guys, maybe if I would have done this, this would have happened. But we won because we did this, and you have to trust me because I literally was there. I did that. So
a lot of the times when we would start to do stuff, I'd be like, if I had done this, or like, I didn't do this, but we're going to do this. You know, like I start off, you know, most of the time when I'm trying to tell them something, you know, always like, if I had learned, it's more of like, I wish I would have known moment.
Yeah. But hey, you know, you didn't know too late. You knew in a good amount of time to still apply it. You know,
Thankfully.
Right. Yeah, good things, all good things. What's it like now after you went through, you know, 3 different Olympic teams? What's it like now that we're back in the Olympics? You've been able to be a part in coaching and being around them a lot. What's it like being on that side of it now?
Well, I didn't really know I was going to be doing that.
Right. It kind of just happened, right?
Yeah. Well, I was trying out for that team. I tried out to be on that team, you know, and I didn't make it, didn't even get invited to the Olympic tryouts. So, you know, I get a text message, you know, and me and Erickson haven't had really the greatest relation. I mean, it's known. So if I'm saying this right now, it's not like he's going to deny it, but no, we honestly haven't had the greatest relationship outside of what we had. You know, it wasn't like we were like, hey bud, you know. For whatever reasons, probably neither one of us know the reasons. It's just the way it was.
Sometimes it just is.
Other New Yorkers is probably it. But, you know, so the last text message I thought I would ever receive would be from him. Hey, you know, can I call you? And I'm like, oh, like what? It's like, you know, your teacher you don't like, you know, is all of a sudden like messages you, hey, I need to talk to you. You're like, what did I do? You know, I got that feeling. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want to have this conversation. You know, like, what is he possibly going to talk to me about? You know, and he's just like, what are you doing? Asked me what I was doing. And I was basically like, just going to be watching softball, you know, until I have to go back to Japan, and just whatever, you know, going to be a good softball girlfriend and go watch, you know, whatever. And he's just like, well, do you want to help me? And I was like, I literally was like, help you how? Like, I said it like that. I'm like, help you how? Like, what are you talking about, help you? Like, you want me to like pat you on the back? Sure, whatever, you know. He's like, well, can you come hit like some ground balls and, you know, just throw little fly balls here or there, like do whatever, help me out when I need you. And I was like, sure, because the beginning of their tour started in Florida, so it worked out. I live in Florida. It was easy for me to go over there. And I was like, sure, you know, the crazy thing, I didn't even like hesitate. Like, I didn't hesitate to say yes, which after the fact, I was kind of like, just really what I want to do, because it took me quite a little bit to get over the bitterness of not being on that team or not making that team. Because I felt like whether I was going to be a starter or not, I feel like my experience and just how I am as a player and just the knowledge that I have now, I feel like how it could have helped so much. So it was really frustrating for me. So I had finally just moved past that. Like, okay, you know, I'm going to support them. This, you know, I want them to win a gold medal, you know, win it back, blah, blah, blah. I just finally moved on for that. And then he asked me to help. And I was like, so when I got off the phone, I was like, did I really just say yes? Like, am I going to really be able to do this without being like bitter, you know, like without being out there and being like, I could have done that, or I could have, you know, like whatever. You know, but I'll be honest with you, it was such an awesome experience. The girls were phenomenal. They were so much more receptive and like loving of me being there than I ever thought they would possibly imagine. Like having me there. It was just great. Like, they just wanted me to help them as much as that I could. And I think I gave them a different perspective. I like to keep things super simple, where Erickson likes to tell novels and how he approaches things, which is, we have totally 2 different approaches. And the things that I don't think he really wanted to say, I said them. So I think it worked out great. And then like our relationship now is like, you would have thought we had been best friends for the last 40 years or whatever. So, you know, hopefully I'll get to do it again when their tour starts back up and if I'm not in Japan. But it was great, and I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. And cause like we said before, you did the things, you were there, you've seen it, you know, like you said, had you been picked to be on this team, all the experience and everything that you could have brought to the table as a player, you're bringing all that same thing. You're just the one getting to tell them to run or throwing them the front toss, you know?
Right. Right.
Bring it all.
Just the different side of it, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I think I'm at the point in my career. It's like, what else have I? I don't need to do anything else, you know.
Yeah.
And if I can help, and ultimately, I've always said this when I first got back into that I was going to even try out again for the U.S. team was, if I didn't make the team, I have had the experience of winning a gold medal. I've had the experience, so it's not the end of the world if I don't, you know.
Right.
I'm just glad that, you know, I got to have a conversation with Chris Sebring. God, it was probably 4 years ago about inviting the pro league players and, you know, and getting everyone to be on the same page and work together as a unit for softball. Because I think that now where everything is and that we're trying to work together, is just crazy. And I think that it's just made everyone so much better. So I'm just super appreciative of that opportunity too.
Yeah. And I mean, it's cool. It's just cool to see your involvement in the sport and the way that you know, even though it might've still been really fresh, like, you know, the bitterness, of course, it is what it is. You know, we share many a French fry about it,
yep,
but
for sure.
you know, but being able to say, you know what, I think that's really big of you because you're a competitor. You want to win, whatever that means. You want to win. You want to put the best out there, you know, whether it's you or whatever team it is. And I think that that's really big of you to say, you know what, like, let's just be a part of it. Maybe subconsciously you were ready to contribute in a different way, even though realizing you're like, wait a second, this wound was still fresh. It's just healed. Do I want to go down that path? But, you know, especially with Allie and everything you get to watch and have these girls go through that, you know, you went through and how exciting it is for them. I think that that's cool to make it, because it's not, you know, you take that and you make it about the team. You don't make it about yourself like, oh, this sucks that I'm this, I'm that. And that's through the good and the bad. That's how you are. Whether you're the, you know, whether you're the triple winner, you make it, it's not about you. You're like, oh, well, you know, those pitchers, man, they really struck everyone out, you know, or.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I just think ultimately that's why I said yes without even hesitating. Cause that's just me. It's who I am, you know, where, you know, some of my friends were like, you're doing what?
Yeah.
Are you crazy? And like, I'm like, I'm doing it. And you know, it's what it is. It's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So.
And after however many months it was, you had a freaking blast.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. You know, and honestly, I got to, I've never been the type of person that needs to know that I was respected by things, but it made me feel like respected in the game of softball, which I had never even needed that or wanted that or felt it, but I got it and it felt good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it felt good to just see that, you know. And again, I had played with some of those girls too, so it's kind of like, okay, where are they gonna be if I say, hey, maybe you should do, you know, this, do this differently, or you know, try this, or, you know, did I ever think I would give advice for Haley McClanley to like take a ball off the wall to, you know, throw, you know, to get the ball in for relays, like, and her be like, you know what, like, I'm gonna try it, like, no, you know. But again, that respect that I knew that I would get it, you know, but like to actual feel it and then to like enjoy feeling that, I was like, oh, this is kind of odd, but it made it more enjoyable for me, and I enjoyed it, and it was just a whole different perspective. I was like, man, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's almost like it was leading you to this point, because it seems like it just fits so naturally. Even, you know, I was able to see you out there with them, and you know, after stuff and you would tell us about what was going on and how practice and games and all this, it just seemed like it fit.
Yep.
So nice.
Yeah,
So
I was
nice.
still giving my knowledge of my
Yeah.
experiences and things like that. I was able to still give those off
Yeah.
without like the being on the team, literally.
Right.
So it was just a great opportunity, and I'm thinking I'm going to get that opportunity again. So that's kind of fun.
I love it. I think, and that's just so cool. Cause I know if I was on the team and you were, I would, you know, like, okay, so how do I do this? What should I do here? How, you know what I mean? Like you're a great resource. And for me, like personally, when we were in Japan together, and if I had an off weekend or if you watched my at bats and I was feeling, you know, anything less than confident, you always were able to build my confidence. You were always able to say, hey, number one, get your head out of your butt, you know, let's just get a McFlurry and move on. You know what I mean? You were that aspect too. So it wasn't so much that the times that we've talked about hitting, 89% of it was mental and was confidence side. You know, the other 11% would be like, oh, your hands just looked a little slow. Just fix that, you know?
Yep.
So I think that not only bringing your knowledge of the game and helping people in those different maybe physical aspects, it's you have a knack to make people feel good about themselves and give them confidence to then go forward and do their job, you know? So
yeah, I love it. I love being that part of it because, you know, I'll be honest. I think that we're over teaching the sport in general. I think we're so mechanical, and we have all these great, you know, sensors and all these things that give us instant feedback of like where we need to be and all this stuff. But like, you know, I grew up on like it's a feel, it's a mentality of, and it's a feel of what you're doing. And you know, the number one thing I always said that like people are always like, well, what makes you like such a great hitter or whatever? And it's like, I just 1000% believe that I'm mentally stronger than I'm smarter. I'm mentally stronger and smarter than anyone else out there. Like, and I wholeheartedly believe it. Like, I will mentally run you into the ground. Like, you may have gotten me out on this pitch, but you won't get it out. You're not going to get me out on it again, you know?
yeah.
I'm going to have a mental at bat with you. I mean, if anyone's ever watched me and Monica Abbott play softball against each other, it is it's not a softball game at that point. It is just a mental game. It is a mental game. And, you know, Kat and I used to do it back in the day. You know, it's like, okay, if she thinks I'm going to throw this pitch, and I'm like, I know she's going to throw this pitch, and it's like just constant back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned that from the greatest player I've ever seen that has the best mental game I've ever seen in my entire life, and Lisa Fernandez. I mean, you know, in the 2004 Olympics, she faced Australia 3 times and threw 3 different games against them. It was unbelievable, you know, and there's far and few people that I'd say like getting on the mound who I'd want to be behind, you know, that I would, and she's one of them, you know, and it's crazy, you know. So I love giving that part of the game to people. It's like, you know, listen, you can overanalyze everything about your swing, and you could think this one, did you see it? Did you see a good pitch? Did you swing a strike? You know, did you make contact at the right point?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
boom.
And did you stay through the ball? Like, there's just simple things. It's like, was it a good pitch? Did you make contact at the right? Were you on time? Like, those 3 things. If none of those things happen, you can have the prettiest swing in the world, and it means this.
Yeah.
So like, let's calm down. Like, I would tell you sometimes, like, Sam, like, let's go get a cheeseburger and talk about it. Like,
yeah,
you know, and I still tell myself that a lot of times too. You know, there was a point last year in the Japan Pro League that, you know, I broke down because I'm like, holy cow, I am terrible. And that league will eat you up because you play, you know, I mean, you play one team one time and a half, and you get to see that pitcher once. So it's like you're making adjustments like crazy. And if you could go 0 for 6, 0 for 8, shoot. I went 0 for 6 in one game and hit bullets at people. And it's like, yeah, cool. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but so, I mean, it happens to everybody, but I love the fact that I get to like share that knowledge now, because I think that's one of the great, like one of the things that I'm really good at is just that part of it.
Yeah. And I mean, more than just softball too. I feel like you live your life like that. Like if you like it, you like it. You don't, you
Yeah.
don't. Okay.
That is true. That is a true statement.
And that's cool. It's you're happy. You do what you enjoy. You know, if you feel like this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do. Like,
Yep.
and that could be involving softball or not. It's off the field too. And I think that that's a really, it's a cool way to look at life. It's always an experience when you get to hang out with you. You know, it's, hey, let's do this. All right, you're always. It is. It's true. You know,
it's fun hanging out with you too. I feel like
we do have
together.
A lot of the same wavelength with things.
Yeah, we totally do.
Donuts. Okay.
I'm not on the Harry Potter like wavelength, but
it's okay.
The other things we are.
I won't lie. I did bring up Harry Potter in my conversation with Allie. So.
Oh God.
I'm like, dang, there's no limit to my nerd level, but you know, but it's such a full experience of keeping it simple. Oh, if you don't want to do that, don't do that. If you don't like that, don't do it. It's simple, you know, and that's,
yes.
You can 100%, you get that energy. If it's funny because there's some people I know that are like that, where it's like, if I didn't want to be doing this, I wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
You know, like you live that way.
Well, I just, why do something that you're not happy doing? Like, just don't do it. Do something else. Like, why be miserable? Like, I don't get it. Like, oh, I have to. Like, you don't really have to do anything that you don't want to do. Like, I understand, like, we have money to make and things like that, but like, if you don't like your job and you're absolutely miserable in your job, then find something else that you're not going to be miserable doing. Yeah. Like, I know that I could not sit behind a desk from 8 to 5 every single day.
Right. No way.
So there's not a single, like, I can't get a job like that.
Yeah.
I don't really care if I become poor. Like, I have to be doing something.
Right.
That doesn't involve sitting behind a desk and inside all the time.
Absolutely. And look at what you've done. Look at the life that you've made because you've been doing what you enjoy. You know,
it's been great.
On that note, it's like you said, you feel lucky, you feel grateful, you all these things because you're doing what you enjoy, you're keeping it simple. But I'm so glad that we got to talk because you're someone who, like, I know you don't love talking about yourself. People,
yeah.
You know, but you're
absolutely not. I hate it.
Yeah. And so
I would do it.
I'm so grateful because it's, you know, you're such an amazing person and player and everything involved that you should get a little moment of, let's talk about Kelly Kretschman for a minute because
thanks, Andrew.
You're welcome. So thank you so much for talking to me.
Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but
no, I could have
get me going. Sometimes I can go.
You know, if the moment's right. But yeah, thank you so much. This has been.
I'm super pumped you're doing this podcast. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Oh my god.
And I still think you should have our little group on together.
I really should. That would be. Anybody want to tune in for a 4.5-hour episode of The Unknown Pro? Tune in.
You will laugh really hard though.
Truly, but this has been just the best. Kelly Kretschman. Again, I'm your host of The Unknown Pro, Sam Fisher, and we'll catch you next time.